chosen one. Something has shifted in the unseen and your spirit felt it before your mind could explain it. This is not an interruption by chance. This is a moment appointed, a whisper breaking through the noise because heaven has marked this hour for you. The stillness you've been sensing, the quiet unease you couldn't shake, is not confusion. It is revelation beginning to rise. Anointed one, there is a reason your attention has been drawn here right now. The Most High has seen what has been hidden around you, and in His mercy He is choosing to reveal, not to wound, but to protect. For as it is written in the book of Luke, nothing hidden will remain concealed, and what was covered will be brought into the light. You have entered a sensitive moment of discernment, not a moment of fear, but of clarity. Not a call to suspicion, but a call to awareness. Someone close, someone familiar has been moving in a way your spirit could not fully settle with, and now heaven is gently pulling back the veil. Stay with this message, chosen one. And if you feel led, remain connected so you don't miss what is being revealed for your protection, because what comes next will confirm what your spirit has already begun to sense. Chosen one, what you have been feeling is not random, and it is not weakness. It is the moment your spirit begins to come into agreement with what heaven has already seen. There is a difference between discomfort that comes from fear and discomfort that comes from discernment. And what you are carrying right now is not fear. It is clarity trying to break through layers of familiarity. You have been standing in rooms, having conversations, maintaining connections, and on the outside everything looks normal. But inside something has shifted. There is a quiet withdrawal of peace that you cannot explain, a heaviness that lingers after certain interactions, a sense that you are holding something together that no longer feels natural to carry. And you have questioned it. You have asked yourself if you are overthinking, if you are being too sensitive, if maybe you are reading too much into small things. But hear this clearly, anointed one. The Lord does not disturb your peace without purpose. When your spirit begins to resist what your mind still tries to justify, it is because heaven is intervening before something deeper takes root. There is someone in your life, and you already know who comes to mind, whose presence has slowly shifted from alignment to disruption. Not in a loud way, not in a way that others would easily see, but in subtle patterns, in small moments, in the way your joy feels dimmed when you share something important. In the way your words feel weighed down when you are around them. In the way your spirit becomes cautious instead of open. This is how it happens, chosen one. Not through obvious betrayal, but through quiet misalignment. Not through open attack, but through slow erosion. And I want you to understand something that may challenge you, but it will set you free. Not everyone who has access to your life has permission to stay in your next season. There are people who were assigned to walk with you through a previous chapter, and they served a purpose. They supported you when you were finding your footing. They were present when you needed connection, but seasons change, and when the season changes, alignment must be reevaluated. You have felt this, haven't you? That strange moment when you share something that excites you and instead of celebration you feel hesitation. That pause, that subtle shift. It is not always what they say. Sometimes it is what they do not say. Sometimes it is the energy behind their words, and your spirit has been picking it up long before your mind could put language to it. This is not about labeling them as bad. This is about recognizing that their posture toward you has changed. There is a difference. The Lord is not raising you to become suspicious of people. He is raising you to become aware of fruit, because fruit reveals what words try to hide. And what you are sensing is not imagination, it is revelation. You are entering a season where your environment matters more than ever, where the voices around you will either strengthen your direction or slowly weaken your clarity. And this is why the warning is coming now, not later, because there is a window, a moment where awareness can become protection and protection can become preservation. If you ignore what you feel right now, you risk normalizing something that was never meant to remain, and over time what felt like a small discomfort becomes a pattern that shapes your decisions, your confidence, and your obedience. I have seen this happen before, chosen one. Not in theory, but in real life. There are moments where you stay connected out of history, out of loyalty, out of the memories you shared, and you convince yourself that because someone has been part of your past, they must belong in your future. But that is not always truth. Sometimes it is attachment speaking louder than discernment. There are people who know your story but cannot carry your destiny. They understand your past but resist your growth, and without even realizing it, you begin to adjust yourself to maintain the connection. You speak a little less boldly. You celebrate a little less openly. You dim what God is trying to elevate just to keep the relationship comfortable. But hear this, anointed one. You were not called to shrink so others can remain at ease. You were called to rise even if it reveals who cannot rise with you. The enemy does not always send destruction through chaos. Sometimes he sends it through familiarity, through someone who feels safe, who seems supportive, who has access to your thoughts, your plans, your vulnerabilities, and slowly over time that access becomes influence, and that influence begins to shape how you see yourself, how you move, how you trust what God has placed inside you. That is why this moment matters, because what is being revealed is not about fear. It is about freedom. It is about breaking a cycle before it deepens. It is about recognizing a pattern before it becomes your normal. There is a reason this message is reaching you now, not yesterday, not weeks from now, but right now. Because heaven sees where you are standing, and it also sees what is ahead. And this warning is not to confuse you, it is to prepare you. There is movement happening in the unseen, decisions forming, opportunities approaching, and your alignment in this moment will determine how you step into what is coming next. So do not rush into reaction. Do not confront out of emotion. Return to stillness first. Return to prayer, because clarity does not come through pressure. It comes through presence. Ask the Lord to confirm what your spirit is already sensing, not through fear but through peace, because when God speaks, even correction carries calm. Even warning carries clarity. And stay with this, chosen one, because what is about to unfold next will help you understand not just what you are feeling, but why this person was allowed into your life in the first place. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to this that you are now being invited to understand, because this is not just about who they are, it is also about why they were allowed to come close in the first place. Not every connection is meant to last, but every connection reveals something. Some reveal your strength, some reveal your wounds, and some reveal where your boundaries were never fully formed. This person did not enter your life randomly. There was a season where their presence made sense. A time when their words felt aligned, when their support felt real, when the connection felt mutual and balanced. And that is what makes this moment so difficult, because you are not dealing with someone who was always wrong for you. You are dealing with someone who was right for a time that has now passed. That is the tension you feel. Not confusion, but transition. You are trying to hold on to a version of them that existed in a previous season while your spirit is responding to who they are now, and those two realities no longer match. That is why conversations feel different. That is why your energy shifts when they are near. That is why you leave feeling drained instead of strengthened, because something has changed and your spirit is no longer in agreement with what your emotions are trying to preserve. And this is where many chosen ones get stuck. Not because they cannot see the truth, but because they do not want to accept what the truth requires. Because once you truly acknowledge what is happening, a decision becomes necessary, and decisions bring responsibility. You begin to realize that peace is no longer something you can negotiate. It becomes something you must protect. There is a scripture that says, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" found in the book of Amos chapter 3 verse 3. This is not just a poetic statement, it is a spiritual law. Agreement determines direction, and when you're walking with someone whose inner posture is not aligned with your calling, you will begin to feel resistance in places where there should be flow. You may not see open conflict, but you will feel subtle opposition. You will sense hesitation where there should be celebration. You will notice that your growth seems to create tension instead of joy. And over time, that tension begins to affect how you move. You hesitate to share. You second-guess your instincts. You become quieter, not because you have less to say, but because you are trying to avoid discomfort. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to adjust yourself to maintain the connection. Chosen one, this is not what you were called to do. You were not created to carry relationships that require you to edit your light. You were not called to maintain proximity with people who are internally struggling with your elevation, and this does not mean they are evil. It means they are not aligned. There is a difference. Some people can walk with you through your struggle, but they cannot walk with you through your growth. They understand your pain, but they do not know how to process your progress. And instead of rising with you, they unconsciously resist what they cannot relate to. That resistance does not always look like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like silence, sometimes it looks like subtle comparison. Sometimes it shows up in the way they respond to your wins, or the way they shift the focus when you begin to step into something new and your spirit feels it. You have tried to ignore it. You have tried to explain it away. You have told yourself that you are overthinking, that you should just be grateful for the connection, that maybe you are expecting too much. But the truth is, your spirit is not reacting to nothing. It is responding to something that has been building over time. This is why the Lord is bringing clarity now, because what has been subtle is about to become significant, and what you tolerate in this moment will shape how you walk into your next season. You are stepping into a place where your environment must match your assignment, where the voices around you must support your direction, not quietly compete with it, where your peace must be protected, not constantly negotiated. And this is where the story of Jonah becomes important. There were people on that ship who were not responsible for the storm they found themselves in. They were simply connected to someone who was out of alignment with what God had spoken, and because of that connection they experienced turbulence that had nothing to do with their own actions. Some of you are feeling that right now. You are praying. You are seeking. You are trying to move forward, but something feels off. There is resistance that does not match your obedience. There is tension that does not align with your efforts, and you keep trying to fix it by working harder, by being more patient, by giving more grace. But the issue is not your effort. The issue is what you are allowing to remain connected to you. And just like in that story, the solution was not more effort, it was release. That is the part that is hardest to accept, because letting go feels final. It feels like loss. It feels like you are giving up on something that once mattered. But sometimes letting go is not abandonment. It is alignment. You cannot stabilize a storm that is being sustained by a connection that no longer belongs in your journey. And I want you to hear this with clarity, chosen one. You are not being asked to act out of anger. You are not being led into conflict. You are being invited into discernment, into awareness, into a place where you can see clearly without being clouded by emotion. This is why your next step is not confrontation. It is confirmation. You bring this before God. You take the name, the situation, the feeling, and you place it in His presence. You ask for wisdom, not out of fear, but out of readiness, because the book of James chapter 1 verse 5 reminds us that when you ask for wisdom, it is given generously, and when that clarity comes, it will not confuse you. It will settle you. You will begin to notice things you once overlooked, patterns that you dismissed, moments that did not make sense before will begin to connect. And you will realize that what you have been feeling was not sudden. It was building. God does not leave you in uncertainty when your heart is open to obedience. So stay attentive, chosen one, because what is about to be revealed next will show you not only what needs to shift, but how to step into that shift without losing your peace. Chosen one, as clarity begins to settle, you may start to feel something unexpected rising within you, and that is resistance. Not resistance to the truth itself, but resistance to what the truth requires from you, because once you see clearly, you can no longer pretend not to see. Once your spirit confirms what heaven has revealed, staying the same becomes heavier than changing. This is the moment where many hesitate, not because they lack discernment, but because they understand the cost of obedience. There is a weight to letting go of someone who has history with you. There is a weight to stepping back from a connection that once felt safe. There is a weight to choosing alignment over familiarity, and this is where the deeper work begins, because this is not only about them, it is also about the space they have occupied in your life, the emotional energy you have invested, the patterns that formed around their presence, the way your routine adjusted to include them, the way your thoughts began to consider their reactions before your own truth. You have been carrying more than just a relationship. You have been carrying the responsibility of maintaining it, and slowly that responsibility has begun to cost you something: your clarity, your peace, your sense of spiritual flow. You may not have noticed it at first, but over time you started to feel like you were walking carefully, choosing your words more cautiously, managing how much of yourself you reveal. That is not freedom, chosen one. That is containment, and you were not created to live contained in environments that cannot hold the fullness of who you are becoming. There comes a point where growth requires separation, not because of rejection, but because of expansion, because what God is forming in you needs room to breathe. It needs an environment where it can develop without resistance, without subtle opposition, without the constant need to adjust. And that is where you are now. You are standing at the edge of a shift that is not just external, but internal. A shift in how you see yourself, a shift in what you allow, a shift in what you recognize as acceptable in your life. And I want to speak directly to something you may be feeling but have not said out loud. You may feel guilty for even considering distance. You may feel like you are being disloyal. You may question whether you are being too harsh or too quick to pull back, because there is a part of you that remembers who they were and that memory is trying to hold on. But hear this truth clearly: loyalty to the past cannot override obedience to the present. Just because someone walked with you through a difficult season does not mean they are meant to walk with you into your next one. Just because they supported you when you were building does not mean they are aligned with what you are becoming. And holding on to that connection out of guilt will only delay what God is trying to establish in your life now. There is a reason your peace has shifted. There is a reason your spirit is no longer settled. There is a reason you keep coming back to this realization, even when you try to move past it. It is not coincidence. It is confirmation. God is not trying to take something from you. He is trying to make space for something greater, but space requires release. You cannot carry old dynamics into new dimensions. You cannot hold on to connections that no longer align and expect to fully step into what God has prepared, because misalignment creates interference, and interference distorts clarity. That is why you have felt like you were in a fog at times. Moments where you feel clear when you are alone, but confused when you are around them. Moments where your direction feels strong until their presence introduces doubt. Moments where your peace is steady until their energy shifts it. That is not random. That is the effect of spiritual misalignment, and you have been trying to manage it instead of addressing it. You have been hoping it will correct itself, that things will return to how they were, that maybe you would just need more time, more patience, more understanding. But some things do not return because they were never meant to continue, and this is where you must choose truth over comfort, because what you are holding on to is not the current reality. It is the memory of what once was, and memory can be powerful, but it cannot sustain alignment. You are not being called to erase the past. You are being called to release its hold on your present. This is where your authority comes in, anointed one. Not authority over them, but authority over what has access to you, because not everything deserves your time. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everything deserves your openness. And that is not pride. That is stewardship. You are learning how to steward your peace, how to protect your clarity, how to honor what God is doing within you, and that means making decisions that may not always feel comfortable, but will always bring alignment. There is a moment that comes in every transition where you realize that holding on is actually more painful than letting go, where maintaining the connection requires more effort than releasing it, where the weight of staying becomes heavier than the uncertainty of stepping away. You are approaching that moment now, and I want you to understand something that will help you move forward without fear. Letting go does not mean you did not value the connection. It means you value your calling more. It means you are willing to trust that God sees what you cannot fully explain, that He understands what is happening beneath the surface, that His guidance is not leading you into loss, but into alignment. And when you begin to move in that trust, something shifts. The heaviness starts to lift, the confusion begins to clear, the internal tension that you have been carrying starts to release, not all at once, but gradually, because peace returns where alignment is restored. And that is what is waiting for you on the other side of this decision. So do not rush, but do not ignore. Stay present, stay aware, stay connected to the voice that has been guiding you through this entire process, because what you are stepping into next will not only confirm what needs to be released, but will also reveal what God has been preparing for you once that space is finally clear. Chosen one, what begins to unfold after you accept this truth is not immediate loss, but a deeper form of release that touches more than just the relationship itself. It reaches into your habits, your thought patterns, even the way you see yourself in connection with others. Because when a bond shifts, it reveals how much of your identity was quietly tied to maintaining it. You may start to notice how often you checked in on their mood, how frequently you adjusted your tone, How much of your energy was spent reading between lines that should have been clear? And when that awareness comes, it may feel overwhelming at first. Not because you are going backward, but because you are finally seeing what was always there. This is where grace meets truth. You are not being exposed to condemnation. You are being awakened to clarity. There is no shame in what you did not see before, only responsibility in what you now understand. And understanding brings the power to choose differently. There is a moment that comes in this process where everything feels like it is shifting at once. The way you respond, the way you engage, the way you protect your space. And people may not understand it. They may question your distance. They may feel the change before you explain it. But this is not about managing their perception. It is about honoring your alignment. You are not withdrawing from people. You are stepping into position, and that distinction matters because what God is doing in your life right now requires a level of focus that cannot coexist with constant emotional interference. You are being prepared for something that demands clarity, stability, and inner strength, and anything that disrupts that must be addressed, not ignored. This is where the image becomes clear. It is like standing in a place that is no longer safe, even though it once was. You can feel the shift in the environment. The air is different. The structure that once held you feels unstable. And deep down you know it is time to move. But there are memories in that space. There are familiar comforts. There are pieces of your history that make it difficult to walk away. And yet staying would cost you more than leaving. That is where you are, chosen one. You are standing at a threshold between what once sustained you and what is now required for you to grow. And God is not whispering this lightly. He is speaking with intention because what is ahead of you cannot be built on what is no longer aligned. There are doors that have been waiting to open for you, opportunities that are already forming, but they require a version of you that is not divided, a version of you that is not constantly pulled between discernment and attachment, a version of you that trusts what God is revealing more than what your emotions are trying to hold on to. And that is why this moment feels so weighty. Because it is not just about letting go of a person, it is about stepping into a new level of obedience. There is a phrase in Scripture that speaks of a time for everything, found in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, and this is one of those moments. A time to recognize what has fulfilled its purpose, a time to release what no longer carries grace, a time to make space for what is coming, and what is coming requires alignment. You have been asking for clarity, for direction, for confirmation, and this is part of the answer. Not always in the form you expected, but in the way that will protect you, because God does not just open doors, He also closes what would hinder you from walking through them. And sometimes the closed door is a relationship that no longer supports your path. You may find yourself wanting to hold on just a little longer, to give it one more chance, to see if things can shift back to what they were. But deep down, you already know. The clarity you have received is not something that fades, it settles. And once it settles, it begins to guide your actions. You will start to pull back naturally, not out of anger but out of awareness. You will feel less inclined to engage in the same way, not out of rejection but out of realignment. And that shift will not require force. It will come from a place of inner conviction. This is how you know it is God, because when He leads you, He does not create chaos within you. He creates clarity that becomes peace when you follow it. And I want to prepare you for what happens next. As you begin to step back, you may feel an ache. Not because you are making the wrong decision, but because you are releasing something that once mattered. That ache is not a sign to return. It is a sign that you are transitioning. You are not losing, you are shedding, and shedding is necessary for growth. Think of it this way: when something has reached the end of its season, holding on to it does not preserve it. It suffocates what is trying to emerge next. And God is not calling you to preserve what has already completed its purpose. He is calling you to move forward into what is being prepared. This is where your trust deepens, because you may not yet see what is coming, but you can feel that something is making room, that something is shifting in your favor, that something is being rearranged behind the scenes, and that is enough. You do not need full understanding to take the next step. You need willingness to release what no longer aligns, willingness to trust that God's direction is leading you into something greater, willingness to choose peace over familiarity, even when familiarity feels easier. And as you begin to walk in that willingness, you will notice something begin to change within you. The heaviness that once lingered will start to lift. The mental noise will quiet down. The tension you carried will begin to dissolve, and in its place there will be space. Space to think clearly. Space to hear God more distinctly. Space to feel like yourself again without the weight of constant adjustment. That is the beginning of restoration. Not something external first, but something internal. A returning to who you are when you are not trying to manage what was never meant to remain. And that restoration will prepare you for what comes next. Because what God is bringing into your life will not require you to shrink. It will not require you to question your worth. It will not require you to constantly defend your peace. It will align with it. And as that alignment begins to take shape, you will understand why this moment was necessary. Not as a loss, but as a turning point that positioned you for something that could not have entered your life any other way. Stay with this, chosen one, because what is about to unfold next will show you how to walk forward in this new alignment without looking back. Chosen one, as you begin to walk forward in this new awareness, something sacred starts to take shape within you. It is not loud, it is not rushed. It is a quiet strengthening, a steady return to yourself, but not the version of you that was trying to hold everything together. This is the version of you that is aligned, grounded, and no longer negotiating with what God has already made clear. You will notice that your decisions begin to feel different, not heavier but cleaner, not complicated but direct. The need to explain yourself will begin to fade. The urge to overanalyze every interaction will start to loosen its grip, and in its place there will be a calm confidence that does not need validation from anyone else. This is what happens when discernment matures into obedience. You stop looking for permission to honor what you already know. You stop waiting for external confirmation to act on internal clarity. You begin to move in alignment with what God has already revealed, even if no one else understands it yet. And that is where your peace becomes your boundary. Not walls built out of fear, but boundaries formed through wisdom. You no longer allow every voice to have access to your thoughts. You no longer give your energy to spaces that leave you feeling unsettled. You begin to choose environments, conversations, and connections that reflect the direction you are being led into. This is not isolation. This is refinement. There will be moments where silence becomes more valuable than conversation, where distance feels more peaceful than proximity, where protecting your space becomes more important than maintaining appearances. And that is not something to apologize for. That is something to honor, because what God is building within you right now requires that level of protection. You are not the same person you were when this connection first began. You have grown. You have been stretched. You have been shaped through experiences that changed how you see the world, how you see yourself, and how you respond to what is around you. And with that growth comes a responsibility to align your life with who you are becoming, not who you were. And that is where many hesitate, because letting go of the past can feel like letting go of a part of yourself. But in truth, you are not losing yourself. You are returning to your true identity, the one that was not formed by fear, by pressure, or by the need to maintain something that no longer fits. You are stepping into alignment with your purpose, and purpose does not always come with clear answers at the beginning. Sometimes it comes with clear direction, and direction requires movement before full understanding. You may not know what is waiting for you on the other side of this release. You may not see the full picture yet, but you know what cannot come with you, and that is enough to take the next step. There is a story of Ruth that speaks to this kind of faith. She did not have a detailed plan for what was ahead. She did not know how things would unfold, but she recognized that she could not remain where she was. She chose alignment over familiarity, and that choice positioned her for a future she could not have imagined at the time. That is the kind of step you are being called into, not a step of certainty, but a step of trust, and as you take that step, something powerful begins to happen. What once felt like loss starts to reveal itself as freedom. What once felt like an ending begins to look like a beginning. The weight you carried starts to lift, not because everything around you has changed, but because you have chosen to move in alignment with what God is doing within you. That is where transformation begins. It is not always dramatic. It is not always visible right away, but it is real. It is steady. It is unfolding in ways that you will begin to recognize over time. You will start to feel lighter in ways you did not expect. Conversations will feel clearer, your thoughts will feel more settled, your connection with God will feel more open, not because He was distant before, but because you are no longer carrying what was blocking your clarity. This is the restoration you have been praying for, not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. And as that restoration takes root, you will begin to see why this moment was necessary, why the discomfort had to surface, why the clarity had to come, why the decision could not be delayed any longer, because what God is bringing into your life requires space that only obedience can create. There are connections ahead that will not confuse you. There are environments ahead that will not drain you. There are opportunities ahead that will not require you to question your worth. And when you step into those spaces, you will recognize the difference immediately, because alignment has a distinct peace to it. It does not force you to shrink. It does not make you second-guess what God has spoken over your life. It does not create internal tension that you have to constantly manage. It flows, and that flow is what you are being prepared for now. So do not look back with regret. Do not question the clarity you have received. Do not allow doubt to convince you that you are making a mistake by choosing alignment over attachment. You are not walking away from something valuable, you are walking towards something greater. And everything you have experienced up to this point, every moment of tension, every moment of questioning, every moment of clarity, has been leading you here, to this decision, to this release, to this new beginning. Walk forward in it, chosen one, not with fear, but with confidence, not with hesitation, but with trust. Because the same God who revealed what needed to change is the same God who is guiding you into what is next. Chosen one, as this moment comes to a close, know that what has been revealed to you was not by chance. It was divine protection unfolding in real time. Heaven has already seen what you could not fully explain, and in love it has brought clarity to your spirit before confusion could take root any deeper. You are not leaving this message the same. Something has shifted within you. Your discernment is sharper, your awareness is clearer, and your spirit is no longer willing to settle where peace cannot remain. This is not loss. This is alignment. This is God shielding your future by refining your present. I speak peace over your mind and strength over your decisions. May every hidden truth continue to come into the light, and may every step you take be guided with clarity and confidence. The Lord is not removing something good from you, He is making space for what is right for you. If this word confirmed what your spirit has been sensing, you can write Amen as your agreement with what heaven is doing in your life. Stay watchful, stay grounded, and stay aligned, anointed one. And if you feel led, remain connected so you do not miss the messages meant for your journey. You are protected, you are guided, and you are moving exactly where God has already prepared for you to stand.